Tyler, did you drink coffee today?
I'm drinking coffee right
You're
now,
drinking coffee right now.
but I still can't hit Andrew's level.
No?
No,
Ever.
probably not.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not consistently.
Today we have Andrew Patterson. He was on, goodness, I don't even know. Let me see if I
I
can.
was trying to think about that, how long ago it was, but I remember getting him on and it being a whirlwind. And looking forward to it today. He's a tough one to wrangle.
Episode 116.
Dang.
That was a long time ago. That was May 4th, 2020.
Mm. Right.
Right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So yeah, it's been a minute. We're 200 something episodes later, and we got Andrew Patterson back on. We're going to talk about custom care, obviously. His program that he introduced to us 4 years ago, and really just his take on the entire post construction process. That's really what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. I guess I never paid that much mind to it, being that I'm coming from the remodeling background and then working on, 1, 2 rooms. But I believe that not necessarily what he's doing, but something similar could be useful even with the type of jobs that I do, as far as any space that you complete for a family, putting a like care package in place for them to be able to maintain what would be a very large financial investment. I think it makes sense.
But before we get into it, big thanks to our sponsor, Andersen Windows. Andersen Windows is dedicated to designing and manufacturing products that are strong, reliable, and ready to perform. And they validate that by testing and testing and testing again until they know their windows and doors perform to their high standards.
They take the time to validate the performance of the materials as well as the performance of fully assembled products. They test their products to failure, not just to pass, meaning they test beyond the threshold required by the industry because they want to know that they're supplying a product that will perform in the most extreme conditions. If products withstand Anderson's best in class tests, you can be confident that they will withstand the test of time for your clients. Visit andersonwindows.com for more information.
This podcast is also brought to you by Buildertrend. And for those that are longtime listeners, you've heard us talk about Buildertrend for over a year now.
It's a name well known in the industry as the leading construction management platform for builders and remodelers. But if you tried them before and fell off the bandwagon, or if you think your current processes have Buildertrend beat, hear me out. They're worth giving another try in 2024, and here's why.
Their platform is new, it's improved, and it's better than ever. Here are just a few of the exciting new updates they announced at the International Builder Show: a materials rebates program with leading brands, an online and integrated checking account with cashback rewards, new and better communication tools, enhanced estimating features, expanded invoice options, more platform integrations, and an improved online payment system.
Schedule a free demo to see these new updates in action by visiting buildertrend.com/mcdemo.
And guys, don't forget to make sure you head over to contractorscoalitionsummit.com, register our event. Myself, Tyler, Brad from AFT, as well as Morgan from Construction to Style, and Mark Williams will be in Minneapolis May 15th through the 19th. Tickets are going to sell out. We are more than 50% sold out. So make sure you grab your ticket, and we will see you in Minneapolis. I don't think I ever told you this, but your episode that we had, I don't even know how long ago it was, 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember everyone messaging us and being like, dude, that guy's energy is off the fucking the wall. And I was like, I know, like, that's one of the things I love about Andrew.
Yeah.
But how are you?
Everything's good, man. Everything's really, really positive. My kids are getting older, so I'm able to spend a lot more time, in the field, in the office. I'm at the point in my life now. I've been married 20 years, and my marriage has been successful because, I keep my mouth shut, do what I'm told. And now my new way my marriage works is I come home and my wife's like, don't you have somewhere to be? Isn't there like a leak somewhere or something you have to tend to or something, or someone pissed off? So now it's like I'm actually at that golden sort of ending those golden years in my life where my wife's like, oh my God, my kids are leaving. I'm stuck with this guy every single day.
Mm.
So sort of having the realization, which is great, that until I'm like 100, I'll be working doing this stuff. But I love it, just like you, I love it,
Yeah.
man. I wouldn't be doing anything else. So
It's funny you say that. We interviewed someone yesterday, older guy than myself, and we're chatting, and he's talking about all these places he's built, and they're in different markets than Boston, and he lives relatively close to Boston. And I was like, well, that's a market I've been wanting to get into. We just don't have anyone there. He goes, I'd go there. And then I mentioned a different market. He's like, yeah, I'd go there. I'm like, wait a second, hold on. Are you married? And he goes, I'm married. I got kids. My kids are almost, out of the house. They're headed to college. And I'm like, and you don't mind traveling? He goes, oh no, there's this thing now where my wife keeps asking me why I'm home so much and want, and would prefer that I travel. Like she said the same thing. He's like, we have a great marriage. We love each
right.
other. But she's like, I feel like you should just go and work on an island for a few months and then come back.
Yeah, I think sometimes distance makes the marriage better. Sometimes, kind of get up in each other's business too much. So,
Yeah.
well,
How
good.
you guys had some torrential rain recently.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
So I actually just made a whole video. I do my new standard videos everybody likes to watch
Mm.
and all that fun stuff. So I just did a video series. We do a lot of stuff, hillside, foundation work, bluff front, waterfront, things like that. So we're doing a crazy project right now, literally on the bluff in Colonel Marne. It's like a 4-story structure. And it's got these big 90-foot caissons, going down, and grade beams and all that stuff. And so I based a video series. I walked up, it's like, yeah, everyone's I went to college with asking me like, oh, is all your stuff Patterson fall in the ocean? So I was like, I'm going to do a video series on like how these houses are secured and locked into place, where like the whole mountain could essentially get washed out underneath them. And, these caissons are, 6 foot on center across the whole foundation would support the thing. So, so that's kind of a cool series that's coming out next week. So people always say, oh yeah, where's that video coming out? But people don't realize like these videos are all like, 4 weeks in arrears. So like I shoot one or I'm out doing something, and it takes about 4 weeks for them to cycle through. And they say, oh, who's your production? How do you do all these videos, and who writes all your scripts? Like, what? No. I mean, like literally on my Outlook, it just says, show up for this, warranty meeting, show up for this billing meeting, show up for this like punch list meeting. It says like video. It's only like a 1 hour window, and it says go to 325 Alvarado and video. And then I walk in, and then Lindsay is there, and it just has the iPhone and just says, what do you want to talk about? And I just look around, I was like, I want to talk about, I don't know, that staircase. And then I just walk around and talk about nothing for 45 minutes straight. And then she miraculously clips it and cuts it in all these different things. The whole Instagram thing is it's such a funny platform, right? Where like everything is perfect, It's like, here's me, like these beautiful bunk rooms, this beautiful staircase, this 3-story elevator. Like, why don't you show like a video series, like all the terrible things that go wrong, like, oh, it didn't fit, and we gotta like rip the whole wall out when it was finished and put this thing inside because no one measured it right, things like that. So, or the elevator got stuck, or like, the door was 2 inches too low. No one ever sees that stuff on the Instagram. It's only like, how cool is this now that it's done?
But what's crazy is like if you did a full like series of just that stuff, like all the stuff that goes wrong, it would be the most popular video series, on social media.
Right.
Like anytime that there's ever been a video or something that we've done where we shared a mistake, it does insanely well. And we actually, what happened to your camera?
Oh,
That
the
would be
camera went out.
I thought that was me for a second.
Well, we were talking about you filming, but we were also
Yo.
talking about the caissons. But
Yeah.
it's funny because there is that home in Florida that like it went viral because essentially he just finished a renovation on his home. He left and he came home and his whole backyard was gone. But
Oh,
you
God.
saw the pool in the house, and you see all the caissons holding it up, and like the pool didn't move. It was still filled with water, but the whole ground below it was gone.
Right. Yeah. That's the video is about, basically, is that's how these things are built. So,
Yeah.
but okay.
We were talking about the screw ups and how that
Oh,
would
that's
be
yeah.
actually a good video. But
But
the
the
problem
problem with
is
the
like
problem with some
you're
of the screw ups is that like you can't really talk about all of them because there's it's like litigation going on, like Up and
Well,
Pex stuff, the Red
mhm,
Pex, whatever it was, and it's the greatest company on earth. There's the Pex
yeah.
failure, they identify
yeah.
it, and they come and they pay for you to repipe the whole house and everything, which is
Mhm.
fantastic. But there's other things that people are just that you have issues
Well,
with product that you can't talk
there's
about
also
because it's still pending.
You're also throwing people under the bus.
yeah.
That's like the other if it was me, yeah, all right, I screwed it up. But when
Yeah.
there's other people involved, like
Right.
I would love to throw them under the bus, but sometimes I'm like, I gotta have a little bedside manner here.
Right, but, like, the fact that Up and Or, like, went out to everyone and addressed the failures straight up and just paid everyone to repipe their house, like,
Mhm.
for the rest of my life, I will not ever use anything but PEX or the Up and Or PEX because it's like,
Yeah.
the fact they did that, just what a credible, like,
What was failing on that?
it's like the red pipe, but basically, if it
Mhm.
would leak, and then you basically would send it to them, to their lab, and they would say, "Oh, this is one of the houses," and I think we had, like, 4 or 5 houses that had it.
So not the fittings, it was just the pipe.
Yes, integrated with how it all came together, basically, yeah. So, but the problem with it, I always tell my clients, there's like three kinds of leaks, right? There's like three kinds, right? The first one is like the best kind of leak, and that's like, oh my god, the sprinkler head got knocked off, and like there's gushing water, and you can turn off real
Why
quick
is
and
that the
wipe.
best leak?
That's by far the best
Because
leak.
you know about it
Oh,
Oh, okay.
that's
immediately.
Yeah.
by far the
I got
best leak is a sudden rush of like water that came from one place, like the guy hit it with his hammer or his
I
his,
gotcha.
his ladder, whatever it is, and you wipe it up, you dry it out, you assess the damage, hope the floor doesn't buckle, and put all that together. The second kind of leak, which is the second worst, is a leak that only comes when there's a torrential rain event that basically house has been there for 5 years, 6 years, and all
Mhm.
of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, there's like water coming out of this like baseboard, down. Like, where's that coming from? You go out there after the rain stops, you're out there with hoses and buckets and you can't recreate it because you
Yeah.
can't recreate that much wind and that much rain and that much volume of water in that certain direction that is blowing at that certain time. And then,
Mhm.
you just kind of go to the homeowners like, gosh, if it happens again, just call us. We'll come try to find it. But most of the time, it never happens again.
Mm.
The third, which is by far the worst leak you can ever possibly have as a home builder, the worst is a drip. One drip a day, every day, forever. And
Mm.
that's like when you have like a PEX leak or a fire sprinkler leak or something like that, where it's a fitting leak and it's just one drip and the mold feeds on that drip and just spreads around inside there.
Mm.
And unfortunately, you don't even see it until it's like way too late,
Yeah.
you know. But that's the worst kind. So it's like if
How,
I've been doing this
how
25 years, I can I've seen it. I've seen every single thing imaginable, quarter century. So
how are you accounting for these type of issues when you're building? Like, is this built into the cost of your business?
no, I just pay for it and hopefully at the end. So the way, in Newport Beach, California is a very affluent, very litigious place to live. So it's much better to, like I said with Openor, I'm an Openor PEX fan for life because they stand behind their product and they just showed up and fixed everything, which is like, I think
Mm.
amazing. I'm same way. Like, you know, the amount of things that I deal with on a daily basis, like before 9 o'clock in the morning, it's like, I've got like four, I can't believe this happened before 9 o'clock, and every day is something new. So basically, our protocol is we have two guys, full time job is their warranty service. They go around all day and check on things. People call us, hey, check this out, do that. And so, my mo is I pay for it all, I fix it all, and then a couple hundred grand, whatever the number is later. Just if there is someone at fault, you just go after them and say, hey, like this didn't work out. What do you want to do? Do you want to
Mm.
submit to insurance? Do you want to pay me? What do you want to do? And so we work it out that way. And that way the homeowner is never impacted. The second an event happens, you just get in there, fix it, and move them out of the house for a month and fix it. You know.
So if these issues, and Nick and I just had not a discussion directly related to this, but if these type of issues are completely unavoidable within our industry based on, I mean, obviously anything is, you can avoid anything to a certain extent, but if these, like, I don't think that these are going to go away, and if it's not the Upin or Pex, it's going to be something else. So Is there a way that we account for this in our numbers, that we're not actually footing the bill of this or having to go after people when we're building one-off products, that there's a lot of experimentation and systems and new products that we're integrating, that the customer, not just specifically one customer, but our customers in general are paying for this? Because it just seems like a lot of liability and a lot of risk on us to be
Right.
cutting margins so tight.
Um, no, unfortunately, and people always ask me like, oh, this, Patterson sucks, like this, uh, water heater broke. I was like, well, Patterson suck. You just never descaled the water heater.
Mm.
Patterson sucks. The sprinkler fittings all leaked. Well, I wasn't like in, Cambodia, whatever, and they were like in the press making this plastic fittings. Like I wasn't there doing that. I didn't supervise the guy, like making sure that the machine was the right temperature to fuse the plastic together. So it's like, I just got the product, installed it. Like the actual fitting of how it was installed didn't leak. The pipe itself leaked. Well, yeah, but Patterson sucks
Mm.
because my house leaked. So it's just like, no matter what, you can't win, and that's why it's better to just quickly address these items and fix them. And if in your on your books you're like, hey, I'm charging 17% of the cost of the work, or 8% of the cost of work, whatever your metrics are, it's account just peel off 2%. Like, you're not actually charging 17, you're charging 15,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
2% is sort of just the slush fund. And if it goes up, don't spend it, don't spend it.
I
But
think that
that's why
that
I wanted to come on this, talk with you guys again, because before Nick and I were talking, it was a good time to come back. Is that based on the preventative side of things? There's two issues, Tyler. One is like, this system failed, your house leaked, burned down. I don't know, something terrible happened. The glass broke. I don't know. Go on for days. All the stories I have, and those are things you can't control. Okay, but that's probably, Tyler, 10%, maybe 5% of the
Yeah.
issues that we deal with. The other are 95% I deal with is products, things that need constant maintenance, that are specified by the designers, the architect, and all these things that the clients have no idea.
mm.
And the builder has no system in place whatsoever to actually service and maintain these finishes that are being installed. Okay. So we have started we talked about it, was it 3 years ago I was on this program? How long ago was it?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
even know you guys even were. I didn't even know anything about this stuff. Remember, I was on my iPhone. I couldn't get the internet to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
almost there again this time.
I know. Nick, I think I just realized, Google just now, Nick owns this camera, partners with this camera company that you can have me buy $1,500.
Oh yeah, we get a kickback every time he sells them.
I love it. So we talked about a while back, was sort of in early inception stages, and we call our program Custom Care. And what Custom Care is basically, it kind of came out of this, 25 years ago. I started doing, infill homes for spec developer guys, and a spec builder and a custom home builder are different people, totally aligned differently. It's how cheap and how low can I build this thing, and get this thing sold to someone, and what the least amount I can spend building it, the more profit I'm going to make. Okay.
Mhm.
Custom home builder is, like I said, I always tell people I'm intelligent, but I'm not smart. And it's, I can build this business and all this processes and all this illusion of grandeur of all this Instagram stuff. But it's not smart to build a custom home business in the city you live in like the most affluent area in the country. That's not a smart thing to do. I should have been called like, master builder, like the construction Jesus or something like that.
Is it
Uh,
is that the where they get the saying, you don't shit where you eat?
Basically, yeah. So my kids actually call it the rule of threes. It's that, and my wife can't stand it. I love, Nick will tell you, I love talking to everybody. I think it's the greatest thing. So the rule of threes my kids called is that every time we're in public in town, within 3 hours, I see 3 people that I know. Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
Mm.
And my kids all, but one, there's 2, there's 3. And so basically I can't hide and I can't go away from anyone that you know, any home I build. I can't hide from people because I see them in everywhere I go. Groceries,
Mm.
whatever I need to go, I can see people I know. So I started this custom care program out of necessity so I could live here. And fortunately, when you build homes here, you're doing a lot of bayfront, waterfront homes, and you're dealing with, these big, 20, $30 million houses. And you're coming across like the highest level of society, these people who've like done something. They're interesting people. They've all done something great. And one of my clients happened to be a software developer. And I was telling him about all these things like, oh, I was building these track homes, when I first started my business. And it sucked because, the developer just like made it so cheap. It wouldn't pay for anything. And then when there's a problem, they don't call the developer. They call me and say, Patterson, my house is, some piece of shit, fell apart. And I was like, well, no, it's like, that's all. You only wanted to put bonderized flashing in, well, this would be, dust in like 5 years, like by the ocean, like why'd you install? It's like, that's building code. That's what he told me to do. But I'm at, soccer or whatever. And oh, Patterson's house sucks. So then I kind of quickly started shifting gears to get more on the custom home side, but that brought in a whole new realm of issues where luckily I'm able to build on, bid on higher projects values. So I'm able to use, better subcontractors, better finishes, better, means and methods to build them. But on the flip side is now you're dealing with, a much more intense personality type that demands like everything be perfect and not understanding like, hey, I didn't spec, this, Mangaris wood cladding on your house, right? I didn't spec it, but why are you yelling at me that no one told you that it's got to be oiled every 6 months for the rest of your life at, $3,000 a month every 6 months? Well, I never would have picked it, right? Well, but they've got the means and the wherewithal to be able to spend that money. But if they knew on the front end what it was going to cost to maintain it, and also we had the service to maintain it, then everyone's happy. Like, hey, here it comes. Here's the Mangaris oiling guy. The guys all oil all over them, and putting the Mangaris oil on, and they're all happy. But but you flip the script where they know going into it, and so, I'm a lot. I always joke around with Nick. I'm a lot older than you guys, and so a lot of things that I feel I'm behind a lot of things. So like you guys probably got your driver's ed like on your smartphone, like you probably pull your Apple phone out, got your DMV, your like DMV license,
Not
whatever.
that we're not
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
young.
I
yeah,
took it
yeah.
in
For
school.
me,
We had it in
yeah,
school.
but that's what it was for me. For me, it was they brought this rickety like VCR in like on this wheels, and they made you watch like this bloody asphalt and like or red asphalt blood on the highway. It's like kids like brains blown on the sidewalk and stuff, and like make you not like like, hey Jimmy, let's go crack some cold ones and hit up by the lake. And next thing you know, like the ladies like the brains are all over the highway and shit. And so it makes like, oh, I better not, go drink at the lake with Jimmy. That's probably not a good thing to do. And so same concept where, okay, you want this Mangaris that's on the side of this house. You want this Ipe wood. You want deck. You want to have a cedar clear garage door that's directly south facing. It's going to get nuked by the sun every day. Yeah, I want that. Looks nice on the rendering. The picture is so nice. Okay, but hold on a second. Here is what it's going to look like in 6 months. And you show them this horrific photo of it like all bleached and like cracking and like the paint, the stain feeling off. And like, well, that looks like hell. I don't want that. It's like, no. That's what you picked. But you want it to look like this. You can keep it like that, but it's going to cost you $3,000 every 6 months for a guy to come out, sand it, restain it because the sun's going to bleach it, and get you back in action here. So, but once they understand that, then they can either like, I'm not paying that. Then you go back to the design team and say, hey, this guy doesn't want to pay for the maintenance of this product you're speccing. He knows. So pick something else, right? Well, no, that's what I want. Okay, well, then you guys need to work it out yourselves because I'm just the guy here telling you what it's going to be like because I've been doing this for 25 years. And I have these phone calls. Oh, my house looks like shit. Patterson sucks. Well, didn't take care of it. Well, no one told me. It's supposed to look, here's the rendering. Well, that's a digital photograph, it's nothing to do with real life. So it's basically as long as everyone knows in the front end, but then taking a step further is having the ability to have the program in place to surface these things, right? So now comes sort of, going back many years, was this when I built these tracks, there was this thing called this HBW like 210 warranty thing. I think it's still around. I don't know. I haven't checked in a long time. But basically, what it is this was sort of brought on this whole mindset of like how this program would work. Is like before you got to build a track of homes, you built more than like 4 or 5 homes. To get liability insurance, you had to show that you were a member enrolled in this 210 warranty program. And basically, what that program did is like insurance, like oh, my washing went out, or this went out, or my HVAC unit failed, whatever. And so basically, what it does is the builder has the warranty of the first year, and then the 210 warranty sort of picks up all the warranties on all the things from year 2 to year 10. Okay, which is great. I think it's a great program, and it's like $60 a month or $70 a month, whatever it is. So it's a good concept, but the problem is, if you're a builder, this, you don't want some other people come sniffing around your house, right? Oh, my heater went out. Well, call 210 warranty, Beatrice. The $60 we paid it. Get them out here. Next, some like jankety ass like service van comes down the street with like 3 black hubcaps and like a missing tire on the side, and he's like some 3-legged dog jumps out, and the guy's like, "Oh shit! Oh, I can't believe he built it like this." Oh my god! And the Beatrice like, "Oh my god! What? Oh my god! What's wrong?" Oh shit! It's all wired wrong. It's gonna health hazard, all this stuff, and oh my god! Can you fix it? Well, of course I can. What's it gonna cost? Then it's like, next thing you know, it's like, oh, it's $5,000, whatever the number is, or a pack of smokes, whatever. I don't know what the hell the guy wants to get paid with. So then next thing you know, you're getting this phone call from Peter's husband. Patterson, you suck. This guy's here right now in the attic, says my house is all built wrong. Some piece of shit. It's terrible. And then like everyone starts calling, like here's the soccer game, like, oh, Patterson's HVAC unit in Beatrice's house is built wrong. This guy came out. So you don't want people sniffing in your stuff, because it's like going to the butcher, like, hey, you got any meat in here? It's like, oh, sure, I'll do. Got some meat. So you don't want someone that's motivated and their business model is to fix things as a service person, sniffing around a house that you built because they're going to find stuff to fix. Guarantee it. Yes. Hey, I came in and saw your HVAC. All looks great. No charge. Don't worry about anything. Zero. It's like, yeah, that's never going to happen, right? So basically what this program had a lot of faults. It's a great idea, great concept, but a lot of faults. So then I started thinking, we'll have all these homes, and it's like Groundhog's Day, right? Every day I wake up, same thing, every day, same thing, insulation, drywall, finished carpentry, appliances, fixtures, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same thing every single day. So since all the homes are all the same, they all kind of need the same maintenance. Every house has to be power washed twice a year. Every house has to have the plumbing P-traps snaked out every year so they don't stink. The faucets tightened every year. The water heater descaled every year. The gutters cleaned out every year. And it goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. So basically what we did, I kind of started thinking, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed in my owner's contract all of these items that have to get done every 3 months, like change your air filter grills every 3 months, the return air grills. Every 6 months, power wash the house. It's got an elevator, run the elevator so the seal doesn't jam to get dried out. Goes on and goes on. Every year, clean out the dryer vents, descale the water heater. It goes on and goes on. So all these items are on there, as well as items for once a year for inspection services. And inspection services are basically exterior paint touch-up, exterior caulking inspection touch-up, roof inspection, so weather stripping inspection. So these are all inspections that we're doing when my guy's out there doing these every year on these walks around the house. And those inspections, if they find things, they become billable things because, hey, it's been, 3 years and this inspection showed the whole right side of your house has got like the caulking's failing, right? And the paint's peeling off and it's $3,500 to fix it. Well, the homeowner loves it. They're all excited. Oh my God, this is great. The guy gets set up and the services get done. And the best part about it is that since we built the house, we're the ones that are going to it. And all my guys that are going there are still insured because we've got the completed operations insurance for our liability policy. So we can show up and get the work done. The guy's super happy and it all works out. So by embedding these items into my contract, I'm able to have a system in place where it's going to be putting the onus on the client. Here's all the things that you have to do. You're not agreeing or signing up for me to do them for you. You're just agreeing that you have to do it. When you buy your car, here's the manual. You're agreeing to change the oil. It's in
Do
there
you
somewhere.
cover the warranty for a certain period? Like do you go around and do these inspections for the first 2 years or whatever essentially for free?
No, no. It's part of our program. So at the end of the way the custom care program works is so we're basically saying to them, here's all the things that you're agreeing to do. And everyone loves it. Like, oh my gosh, a maintenance manual for my house. I love it. We can do it for you. We're set up for it, or you can do it on your own. You can try to do it yourself. But you're agreeing to have these things done. And
Mm.
so by doing that, the way the program is set up, and going back to my computer software designer client, I said, okay, here's all the things I want to do because I'm going to write you an algorithm. I said, an algorithm. I've heard about that like on the internet. It sounds really intense. Going back to like the technologies, like Nick's all about all the technology. There's like Buildertrend, all these different things he's doing, all these different companies part of, all this stuff. Like I'm just running this whole business like an Excel spreadsheet and like some PowerPoints like pushed all together. I can't
No, like
understand.
a VCR rolling into your
Yeah, it's like
classroom to show
I'm
you
like the
blood on this.
VCR. I'm like the VCR of 2024 compared to you. But like, but seriously, everyone, like if you're in a technology world, like that's your job, you kind of keep growing. But if you're not in that, you kind of stop, right? Like for instance, like I would skateboard to 7-Eleven, right? And everyone knew me in town. Like 1/4, I whip everyone's ass in Street Fighter. Everyone. I knew all the blood codes for like, Blanca and like that Taoism character with the arms that shot out and shit. So I whip anyone's ass. Like nobody would mess with me, right? But now I try to like play some Call of Duty. My kid's got this PlayStation with like 17,000 buttons on it and like all this. I was like, oh, too much. Can't do it. Done with
I'm
all that.
I'm I'm gonna stop you because I want to go back. Like the the fact that you're putting together with custom care, right? The fact that you're putting together this agreement with the homeowner, I think it's really important to make the relationship to a car because you did that on the last podcast, and
Yeah.
when I've explained this to people, it's the analogy I use, and I think about nowadays when you're driving and you need your oil changed, it used to be you just wait for your odometer, right? Or and
The
then at
light
one
goes
point they
on.
well, not back then, it wouldn't be the light, it
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
the odometer, and then they were
Right.
like, "Hey, let's make this little sticker we put up in the left corner of your windshield that will write the mileage." So that was a thing forever, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Wait, why don't we just put a light on that pops up every 3,000 or 5,000 miles, whatever it is?"
Right.
So now we get this light, and I remember, forever I would change my, I would always work on cars, I changed my own oil. So it was like I was agreeing that when that light came on, I would change my oil, and I remember, um, at one point, I just stopped changing my oil because I didn't have a garage anymore, and I was bringing it to the dealership, but I did like my light had been on for a while, and I remember resetting the light because I was like sick of looking at it, and all I could think about is when I get to the dealership, they're gonna know that like I reset the light, but didn't
Right.
change, but didn't change the oil,
Right.
and it's I think it's similar to what you're talking about. It's like there needs to be this kind of foolproof way where it's like, listen,
Right.
you need to
And- and-
change your oil. Like we're telling you that you need to change your oil. If you choose not to, that's fine. But when the motor blows, don't call me and say, "Hey, what
right.
the hell? My motor blew." It's like, no, it's not what the hell. It's you literally didn't do what we asked you to do in order to prevent the motor from blowing.
Right. And that's basically what the program is this is it blows my mind. You can buy, some $20,000 Mazda and you have like every amenity known to you. You've got like the manual comes to you, there's email and reminding you like, oh, it's time to change your oil. Come on in. You get a coffee and like talk to you and everything, you know. it's found their fluids are low. We checked out your steering fluid is low. Want to top it off? Oh God, I didn't even know I had steering fluid. That's amazing. And they're doing all these things for you, but you got to pay for the steering fluid. But like you didn't know that it was low, whatever. And so the guy, like, thank God I knew. But you build a $20 million home, you build a $500,000 home, you build a $5 million home. There's nothing. There doesn't exist. And our culture is so weird to me that people just assume like the house is done and like that's it. Live there forever. Raise your kids. Hey Jimmy, little Jimmy in the backyard playing. Now he grew up, went to high school, never washed the house once, never cleaned the gutters once. What's the house going to look like, right? But there's no service. So like it just seems like common sense to me. Like if the builder is building that house the same way the Mazda is building a car, and they know the car has to have, it's a $20,000 car, but it's going to need like $10,000 worth of service over the life of that car. Like, why not capitalize on that? Like, why not only keep the Mazda at your dealership, not taking to like, Raul spark plugs and junk, hey, I want to get a deal. Like Raul, like puts the thing in, like forgets the part and the whole thing blows out on the side, and then you go back to Mazda. Oh, this spark plug's some piece of shit. Like, no, Raul left the plug out. Like, why not keep it at Mazda? Keep it there. And why does it Mazda? They same as a builder. Patterson built my house. My house has to be painted every 5 years. My house has to be power washed every year. My water heater is going to be descaled every year. My plumbing P-trap's got to be cleaned out every year because my condensate line of my air conditioning is dropping into behind the wall. But like, why wouldn't Patterson or any builder capitalize on that and not only know that their homeowners are being taken care of and they're getting the services they want, have the van with their name on it in front of their houses forever, because they're going back every year, like servicing these homes, having the best looking houses on the street because they're being taken care of. And Patterson's, making money off it because he's providing all the services for life. Like, why wouldn't that happen? Take it a step further. Why not make a program where all of these services that you're doing that are required in your contract to build the house, not recommended, required, why not have a page for each house, track all those services that are being done? So the guy goes to sell the home in 5 years and goes to the homeowner who's buying the house. Hey, every single thing has been done on this list for the last 5 years. The guy buying the house, like, oh my God, is that transferable? Of course it is. Yeah. Not only has it all been done,
but
it's transferable. So you can enroll when you buy it.
But to stop right there, I'm sure I've never once bought a home and be like, can I have your service report, like service records? And you think about, like, obviously the Carfax is a good example, but we bought a boat a couple of years ago, used boat, 20 years old, and when we bought it, the guy handed over, huh?
That was a mistake. I would have told you not to do that.
You just bought a boat. That's a separate subject. The point, my point of the example is that when we bought it, he handed over an envelope, and I was like, "What is this?" He goes, "Oh, it's every time I've had it serviced." And it's literally down to like, had the boat cleaned, had this done. And
Right.
for me, I was like, oh, this is like, that's really valuable to know that this guy cared as much as he did. And exactly what you're saying. It's like you buy a house for $1 million or 500,000, whatever it is. And then you ask for like, oh, what have you done for service? It's like, oh, it's like, well,
yeah, a little this, a little that.
and there's no record of it.
No. And so the program is great because it offers, so basically going back, I kind of skipping around, but basically I get with this client of mine and we create this. I sit down in this huge room with this massive whiteboard over, multi-weeks of meetings, and I have these big bubbles like, oh, I want to be able to notify the guy and notify this and track this and know what's going to happen, that. And is like, just, I don't understand how technology works. It's like beyond my world. But he's like, oh, I can make that happen. I can't make that happen, but I can make this happen. And so we start down this path. I start building this program, and for the most part, it's great, and had a lot of bugs and issues with it. But the best part about it, and that's what people say, like, oh, it's so great. Patterson offers this service, maintains the homes, and I would say, like, the first time we had so many inbound leads on our I don't know, what Lindsay would like 3 calls a week, 4 calls a week for 4 or 5 calls. I don't know, 4 calls a week from because we have a big Instagram following. People all over the world, like, oh, Mr. Patterson, we're moving from New York. I hear you're the guy in Newport Beach that takes care of homes for life. It's like, yeah, it's me. You heard right. Go on the internet and lie.
Heard right.
Read all
Heard
about it.
right.
Go on the
Yeah, I heard
internet and
about you.
lie.
Yes, that's the truth. And so they go, can we fly in and meet with you? And these people, they obviously are smart enough to know that if this guy is going to engage in a lifetime contract of maintaining your home with you, right? He's probably not going to cut any corners building a house. He's probably not going to like do anything stupid that's like going to cheap out, because he's ultimately going to be responsible for it. So it gives him a huge, massive peace of mind knowing that, like, hey, this guy is going to be here forever. He's not going to do anything wrong. He's not going to shortchange me on anything.
Or you
And
just build the house really shitty,
yeah,
and then you have job security, because then you're
no,
just
no, but
fixing it for the life of the
but Tyler,
house.
that's the problem. So on the flip side, it's a good question. That's a very good point. On the flip side is that's why if you follow me on Instagram, we have our new standard series where we're basically explaining, like, the building code is like the lowest possible standard that is basically set forth by the home building lobbyist, right? Like, what is the shittiest I can do something that it passes those statute of limitations? Like, how like nasty and thin of melamine can I have on a cabinet door that will make it past 1 year of it being ripped off the hinges? 366 days that door rips off. It didn't work out. Sorry, it's out of warranty. I can't say that at the soccer game. Yeah, your melamine cabinet ripped off. I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry, I had a warranty. Go call somebody else. Beat it. But I can't like, my kid will never play in the soccer game, like sideline Patterson, he's built some terrible house. So, but that's my world. Right. So but you said, Tyler, is that, so my new standard series is my new standard is as high as what's available at that point in time today. Like, we only use pure zinc and pure copper for flashing. That's it. We don't use anything else. There's nothing better than that. We use inch-and-eighth plywood in all of our subfloor. Why? Nothing thicker. We use cast iron waistlines. Why? Use ABS. It's way less expensive, because when the homeowner moves in the house, like, oh, I hear the toilet flushing. This is not acceptable. I'm sorry, it didn't work out. There's nothing with a higher sound coefficient than cast iron, right? So every standard that we have and everything that we do is as high as it can possibly go. Like Zip System came out, right? The plywood, waterproof plywood. Huh, what's this all about? Some waterproof plywood? That's awesome. Sign me up with some. I'll take that. Now every house is
Well,
Zip
you
System.
were and just for what it's worth, you were one of the first to bring it out there. Like, you
Yeah,
didn't
because it was.
everyone had it over here, and
Yeah.
they didn't even have it in
Because you don't need it
Newport.
here. Because
Right.
that just goes to shows, like, you don't need it here. Like it's 70
So there
degrees
was no
here.
market for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 65 to like 75, and like that's
Mhm.
it. And it rains, but not enough to like really damage anything. So
Right.
it's a total, doing Zip System plywood out here is a total overkill. But
Yeah.
like, hey, why not? There's nothing better, right?
Mhm.
So but you're saying, though, is I price myself out, Tyler, out of a lot of these projects because I won't go less than my standard, right? Like, every house I build's got lighting control. Why? Well, because I had a client, Kevin Fairfax, good guy to this day, but he wouldn't have any more than 3 light switches on his wall. That's it. I don't want any more than 3 light switches. So we spent like months trying to figure out what switch went to what light. And finally, I was like, never going to build a house with conventional switches again, because it's a nightmare. It's better you don't like the way those lights turn on, just program it, turn them on somewhere else. So everything we have as a standard is based on some sort of a terrible experience I've had with someone else. So sorry, but what happens, Tyler, is I price myself out of some of these projects because I'm not going to build a house that's not to a standard where I know I can get the job, but I don't want to be dealing with it in 10 years when it all
Yeah.
fails. So kind of going back to the way the program works is, great guy, Patterson, built the house, maintains it for life. That's amazing. Talk about it. But what they don't know is that's what the program's for. The program is there to protect me so I can show myself in public. And the same way that every house finishes, the program, we build the page of all the services that they're going to have through the year. But it also builds the page if they don't sign up. Okay. And if they don't sign up, which is totally fine, do it on themselves. But I want to make sure that they're reminded of all the things they agreed to do. So
Why wouldn't they sign up with you?
I don't know. It's too
costs.
expensive. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the biggest side of it, like, 'cause
I
we're
mean,
in
but is it that they're not gonna sign up for it in general, or they're just not gonna hire you?
They can hire whatever they
really
want, and I
yeah.
encourage them to
Yeah, but
hire
I
other
mean,
people.
if they're not gonna sign up with you, is it just typically that they're not signing up with anyone for a
Yeah,
full
for no one.
maintenance
Yeah, they're
package?
kind of they're just
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not pricing it out with like, we just went through this and the opposition for them to sign up for the whole package was cost.
yeah,
And I wanted to bring this up earlier when you were talking about, like, when we were talking about, um, you know, predetermined maintenance, but it's, they made this comparison to the home that they used to live in, and they said, based on, I think our proposal was like 20,000 something for the year. And it included a tremendous amount of work, of course, because, which is why it's so expensive. But they were like, I don't see that we put that much money into maintaining our previous home. And I understood what they were getting at, but I was like, your previous home was less than half the size, and you know, not what I would consider a luxury home. And it's much more expensive to change the brakes on a Lamborghini than it is a Hyundai Sonata. And it's the same thing. It's like you're building a more complex and custom home where stuff is more expensive.
right.
Um, yeah.
But the bottom line with home maintenance that people don't understand is, like, you can't just eat, Jolly Ranchers and Rolos every single day of your life and not go to the dentist, right? You can eat those, I don't, it's not part of my diet, but you can't do that as long as you go to the dentist, every 6 months or so, just make sure the caramel isn't stuck in their back molar or something. But if you don't go to the dentist and eat Rolos and Jolly Ranchers all day, and you don't go for, like, oh God, my tooth kind of hurts. You go in there, and next thing you know, you got 15 cavities, you're ripping all your teeth out, and you're putting veneers in, and now you're looking at like 100 grand worth of dental work, when all you had to do, eat all the Rolos you want every day, but just spend, the $100 to get your teeth cleaned every 6 months. People don't understand that. It's $2,500 a year to go around the house and caulk all the joints.
Mhm.
Okay. It's 25,000, 125,000, whatever the number is. If you don't caulk the joints and the water gets in year after year after year after year, for these cracks and Tyler, you do carpentry in the outside of houses, I see, with like doing like millwork and stuff. If these
Yeah.
joints open up, the water gets in, all you see is the joint. You can't see all that water that gets in every storm and it's rotting out the inside of the back of the wall. So next thing you know, 10 years later, you're ripping the side of the house off, and guess what? Patterson sucks. Patterson sucks because my house leaked, and he's terrible.
Your
Okay.
kids are
And
getting no playing time.
what happened to your house, Beatrice? Patterson sucks, and my house leaked, and the whole house had to be ripped off the side of the wall. All the siding was all rotten. There's bugs in there and stuff. They had like their own area code, so many bugs in it. And I go, now let's flip it a little bit. Okay. So this is why I have the program. Because if you're not having me do it, which is fine, all the service things are saying to you, it's been 3 months, it emails them, ding, time to change your air conditioning filters. It's been 6 months, ding, time to service your elevator so the piston doesn't get dried out and fail. It's been 1 year, ding, time to descale your water heater. It's been 1 year, ding, time to do the paint touch up on the outside of your house. Ding, it's been 5 years, time to resurface your deck. And all these emails are coming to them, and their email correspondence, the email itself, is being logged onto that homeowner's page, right? So now, Beatrice, all pissed off at the soccer game, my house fell apart, Patterson sucks, it leaked, it's terrible. Hold on a second. Is this you, Beatrice? Right here? Beatrice.com, whatever your name is. Bitch housewife, whatever.com. And this is you, right? Oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. Well, hold on a second. Now, here's all of my 10 years of emails of me not only telling you to do it and caulk the outside of the joints of your house, but me offering to do it for you, right? So not only are you not doing it after I notifying you, you're not even taking advantage of basically a very low cost managed application of it to be done every year, and you still didn't do it. So who's the fault, Beatrice? You're just cheap. Won't take you're not. That's a nice Range Rover you got out front with all your kids and all the basketballs and everything. That's nice. Oh, thank you. I take great care of it. I'm at the dealership every week getting the oil change and all the leather all tuned up and all the air freshener things and all cleaned out. And look under the hood. The whole hood is spotless. The guy waxes underneath my engine block so I can see how shiny it is. But why don't you wash your house, Beatrice? Why, And that's, that's where the program came, is like, what does it cost? How much does it cost, Tyler? What does it cost? Right. So I figure I had a client every single Saturday, right? I built this house every Saturday. I can't say his name. Nice guy though. Let's call him Chris. So Chris every Saturday had a Lamborghini and like a vintage Ferrari in his garage. And every Saturday he would back out these cars out of his garage, and this detail guy would come out for like 6 hours and detail these cars, right? At the end of the 6 hours, he'd look at it, check it out, and put the car back in the garage. Never drove these cars, spotless cars. Never washed his house once. And then, sure enough, the deck's all peeling apart. There's like always like old, cigar butts up there and like, trash up on his roof deck and stuff. And it's all peeling and cracking. Never took care of his house. Never washed anything. And I said, Chris, what do you pay to wash those cars? Oh man, this got a good deal. This guy's it's $500 for each car per month. Okay, so you're gonna spend $1,000 a month to wash 2 cars you don't drive. So maybe that's, if I can figure it out, to like, how do I get all of these services done for like less than $1,000 a month for a 6,000 square foot, $20 million house? And that's what I was able to do. And that's typically what these homes cost for us to do all the services on, about 12 grand a year
And
for everything included.
that's the inspections and then maintenance
Yeah,
services, not like major repairs.
Yeah, like but the power washing guy, the window washing guy, all that stuff is included. It's all in there.
So are you signing a yearly contract?
Every year it renews. So the way it works basically is, on the portal, you have three worlds. Okay. You've got the admin side where I can see every single home that's on it and all the appointments coming up, all the calendar view, what packages are on, like who's on it. Then you have the homeowner can see their page, their world, where they can basically see their package, their plan, and also their service history of what they've got going on. They can click on it. They can also add services. They go, oh, I'm having a baby shower. I want to add an extra power wash. They click on it, and it goes ding. And then right when it schedules it, they say, I'm going to do it on April 6th at 10 a.m. And they pick that time. It's available on the calendar, and it's predetermined. The cost is, I don't know, that house is $625 for the power washing and the windows being cleaned. And they're like, okay, great. So they click on it, goes ding. And then automatically there's 3 power washing guys that are all on their own portal. They have their own page each. And all 3 of them just got the notification on their email. Bing, you have a new service appointment. Do you want to sign up? Do you want it? And it's like $600 already, just told you. Oh my God, I'll get that money. And the first guy that grabs it gets the appointment. Now there's a match. So on the calendar of the page now, my custom care guy that works for me knows to meet this power wash guy on this day. You're prepaying for the services. So at the beginning of the year, like the $12,000 we'll say it is for at the end of the year, the homeowners write me a check. We have the money in our account. And so when the subs show up to do all the scheduled maintenance, they know that someone's going to be there, because, it's not like, hey, what's going on? All these people showed up at my house. Oh, I'm washing my hair. Tell them to beat it. And the poor power wash guy who is scheduled has to pack up all his stuff, and now he can't wash the house that day. We don't have to deal with that because they're meeting my rep there to do all the services, the power wash it all, then log on the program that it was done, and then pay him right then and there. So the subcontractors love it because they're guaranteed no cancellations. And just, because sometimes people forget that they schedule services and the guys show up and they don't understand that guy's got nowhere to put his guys that day and he lost money. The guy gets paid the same day it's done. So he's not waiting or chasing money around like, oh, I'll get that. Get you next week. I promise. Oh, the banker screwed me. Don't check. No, don't cash that check. It's a different account. And the guys get, messed around with for months trying to get paid. So it's a win-win for everybody,
So is this, and I know that we are having the conversation regarding cars, but is this something that when these people go to secure financing for the home, that you could sell them this package for X amount of years? And I mean, it would be the same principle as cars, where it's like, okay, you get an extended warranty on a car. If you sell that car, it's transferable.
Hmm. Um, I never thought about that, but it's probably not would probably wouldn't work because every year you have the ability to renew people or not. Because some people
Yeah.
might you might not because you might not want to renew some people. They might be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you know, so the system basically is in the best analogy of how to describe it is it was I swear I was there at some point in time, and I was in college at some point in business school. Always remember this class, and it was talking about negligence. Like, what's negligence mean? Negligence is I'll never forget the story. It's basically the grocery store clerk guy is there. He's going to stack the bananas up, right? And he stacks the bananas, but he stacks them too high, right? He stacks them way too tall, and they're so tall that the banana falls off the top and falls on the ground. And some ladies walk around the course, fat ladies like, oh my god, slips in the banana, busts her ass. Oh my god, I broke my hip. Someone's gonna get sued for this. Like, he made a mistake. He stacked them one too high. Didn't he made a mistake? Then there's gross negligence, which is basically putting the bananas in a path of travel where it's guaranteed that someone's going to bump them and guaranteed it's going to fall or guarantee that she's going to slip on it. And gross negligence is doing something that's not safe, right? So it's like, oh, let's stack them to the left. And even though it's too tight, her arm's going to hit it and the banana might fall down. And we'll put it on video and we'll watch it. It's funny. Put it on YouTube, get all the likes. So the lady falls, busts her ass, but that's gross negligence, a whole different deal because you basically went out of your way to make an unsafe condition where someone was injured, right? So this program is basically negligence would be me handing you a manual and saying, here, great job, great build. Call me if anything comes up. And I'm like stressing out, like every time it rains, like, oh my God, is this guy cleaning his deck? Is this guy, did he caulk his joints in his house? Like, did he do the service on his stormwater ejector in his basement? Like, and I'm stressing out. That's like negligence, right? Because I gave him a manual to do what he had to do, right? Gross negligence is I gave you the manual, I notified you of all the things to do in the manual, and I have a service plan in place to do it for you, but you refuse to do it because you can do it cheaper yourself or do it better yourself. And so don't call me when you have a problem with your house. You gross negligently cause damage to my brand because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? And you didn't do all the things that were going to cause a failure to occur. So don't come at me, right? So when people call us, because I've built 300 and I don't even know how many houses I built, 300 over 350 houses,
In
and
Newport Beach
Newport and
or
this
in your
area around here,
yeah.
yeah, within what's the terminology? I have all these handlers. Like, I'm sorry, I have built 350 homes
Handlers.
in the coastal Orange County marketplace. Okay,
So is this software all developed already?
yeah. So,
And what's
but
so
real quick, time. So the beauty of this is that people call in all the time. Oh, because you go on the internet. Oh, Patterson built the home. What's a Patterson built home? And these homes trade at a premium that we build because in the aftermarket because they know we do the service plan to maintain the houses. But unfortunately, a lot of the homes they want the brand that we built it, but they're not enrolled in the program. They haven't been doing it. So people will call us and say, "Oh, I bought this house, whatever, or we'll have an issue with this product, or I have an issue with this thing, or this leaked, or this is a problem with that." And it's like I look back and it's like 6 years old, and we send them a nice letter and say, "Hey, we noticed that you've declined enrollment in our program. Here's the information if you want to join it, whatever. But unfortunately, we can't. This house is out of warranty. So based on this service list of all the things the maintenance items you're supposed to be doing, please submit all of your proof of maintenance you've been doing per the agreement. Then once we review it, then we'll come schedule time to come look at it."
so is all of this software you helped or you hired somebody to develop? Is it specific to your business, or is this something
Yeah.
that other builders
Yes.
could use?
Yes, it is. It is. And Nick's been great. So Nick's been one of the ones that's been helping me beta test it. Tyler Farrell, Killuane's been great. Has been helped me beta test it. But it's software, and like I don't understand software. And like the guy like talks to me like, oh yeah, this it's like I logged in and like it didn't work, and I don't understand it. And it's like, it's a whoa, this bug, and that's like I don't understand what that means. Like for me, if the homeowner turns the hot water on and the water isn't hot, like it doesn't work, right? So I have to like figure out the water heater. I don't understand software, but Nick's been great. So Nick's like, well, no, this is okay. Just calm down, everyone, calm down. And so it's been going on for about 3 years. And so what's the goal of this? The goal of this is to I kind of when you get a little bit older, I now know that I'm going to be in business less years than I've been in business, right? So every year I'm not, I've only got probably 15 years left, whatever, so
That's
like
crazy.
what
That's a
what
crazy
what
thought.
I know, but like what then what? What do I do then? So it's basically um I have to leave my mark, right? I have to do something. I have to figure a way to end, right? Go tell Sharon to be quiet. I have to figure a way to end. Um, and how do you end? You end with, oh, Patterson built all the houses. No one cares about that shit. Um, Patterson had a good reputation. There's a lot of good guys out there. But how do you end your career and end your time, in this industry that you sacrifice your whole life without leaving like a monumental shift, right? So my goal is to leave my mark as I'm going to monumentally shift the way that people view a contractor. Okay. Contractors don't have the best view of reputation. It didn't show up, you never paid the subs, this and that, or my ship broke or whatever happened. But by resetting the narrative, by putting a situation in place where a program like this, is this the best program? I don't know. I mean, it works for me, but how do I put something out there that gives all the builders the ability to put the onerous back on their clients to show that, hey, you're the one that didn't take care of your house, not the builder, you know?
Well, so
So, yeah.
why do you feel the need why do you feel the need to do that? Is it industry based? Is it financially? I know that you say you want to leave something behind. Um, but what's the catalyst for wanting to put this in place, realistically speaking?
So the goal basically is to put this in place and put it out there. And there's a thing with this. I have software guys that are helping me do all this stuff, and they've done built companies before and things like that. Um, they're investors too. They've helped me like invest in the program. To like this is software games expensive, man.
Yeah.
I had no idea like how much it costs to develop this shit. It's crazy expensive. And so I have investors on the board that have come in to help me as advisors. Nick's one of my advisors on the board. And but like what's the best way to say this? So it's called the TAM. Is it TAM, Nick? What the terminology is, the market analysis. Like how many people could actually would use this program and buy it and utilize
Yeah.
it? And it's not very high. So if every single person use this software, we are gonna license it, and I'll give you the information when we're done. It's coming out probably
Well,
in
let me
next
let,
6
let me
months.
pause you real quick, Andrew. Like, I think that was an interesting stat when we were going through this, and Tyler, you um, it like the number was like less than 2,000 people would use this program,
Right.
and just for reference, like Buildertrend
Less than
has like
2,000 builders
yeah, like
or
yes,
consumers?
no builders.
Okay,
Where
builders.
if you think about something like Buildertrend has like 30,000 users.
Yeah.
But this isn't like from a market analysis, this doesn't fit 28,000 of those people
And
or companies because, from for what this is, like you need not only do you need a staff to run it, but then you need like the product needs to be there where it needs to be worth the investment and the time. where it's like
And
it
also,
does.
like, I feel like a lot of people don't wanna stand behind their product that long.
Right.
Well,
But
well,
but but
that
you
is
are, but if
fair.
you live in the community you work in, you're forced to. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, and when you're building a luxury product, like, there's, that cost of maintenance, again, like the car analysis, like, if you own a Lamborghini or, like, a high-end car like that, you're likely going to be bringing it to the dealership for service. Very few of those people are gonna be like, "Alright,
Doing
let's
their
pull up my
old oil
garage." Yeah,
changes.
doing their own oil change, where
I get
if
around
you
to Pep Boys. "Oh, you guys
yeah, if
don't carry Lamborghini filters?"
yeah, but it's like if you own, I don't know, a Chevy pickup, it's like,
Right.
yeah, I can do an oil change. It's going to cost me $100. I can pick up oil, at Pep Boys, and that's where I think that analysis came into play. It's like, hey, the home that is, a sub $500,000 home, no one's really going to spend, multiple thousands of dollars a year maintaining it, because the reality is it probably doesn't require a ton. And what it does require, most people are going to bootstrap and figure it out on their own, or deal with it when it comes up.
Correct. And that's sort of that HBW 210 warranty is it's a program based on failure. Like when it fails, then they'll fix it. But when it
Yeah.
fails and something they have to fix it, there's not some HBW like truck coming out. It's like it's like an Angie's List like contractor coming out.
I mean, the other issue and concern of mine moving forward is, and somebody said this a few years ago, that, like, realistically speaking, post COVID and now is one of the worst times to build as far as products that we're getting. The boom and what's available, lumber shitty. Um, the quality of homes, even though we can build them to whatever our standard are, a lot of the materials and the raw materials that we're sourcing and using, it's not as quality as it was 100 years ago. And I feel that today's homes need way more maintenance than homes that are 100 years old, 150 years old, because the materials are different. The wood's not as uh is it rots easier. Like, we were just up in New York, and they trimmed the outside of this old farmhouse in all, like, a Windsor one primed pine, finger jointed pine, and it was probably 6 months old, and it looked like they primed their end cuts and everything else, but it's all swelling and it's
Of course.
delaminating and the paint's all coming off, and it's like, if that were the wood that we used 100 years ago, it wouldn't be the same type of issue. And I
Right.
feel like all of these preventative measures and the maintenance end is even more critical now than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, because what we're getting just is not as high quality no matter what we do.
Right. And that goes back to my original sort of statement of why I started this, is because if you are a home buyer, you don't understand construction. Most likely you don't get it. Like, you
Mhm.
don't understand, like, you don't even understand like how the whole process works of like who the realtor is and the builder is and the developer is the landowner. Like, you can't really figure all of it out. It's like, oh, I saw this beautiful house, and this great design. I don't want to say this, got this great designer, and it's got beautiful furniture, but like, you have no idea that house is just literally slapped together on the outside
Yeah.
with just gum and like, an old Band-Aid or something like that, and so you don't know, because it looks pretty. The first day you move in, it's so pretty. The windows are washed, the trim's all perfect, all the sills are all nice. But then you don't touch it for a year, and every one of those sills is bubbling, rotting out. We went to AZAC a while back, because we use AZAC on all of our houses. Now we use pretty much indestructible plastic. We don't really use any more real wood in the outsides, unless it's like a stain grade wood. Um, but you know, people don't understand that, like, the motivation of the person that sold you that beautiful house, their motivation is to build that thing as cheaply as humanly possible, to profit off what the land cost,
Yeah.
what it cost to build it, and then whatever pretty photos they got on the internet to put the furniture in, and you're all super happy and go. But then a year goes by and it looks like total garbage, and the homeowner has no they have no way to know who to show up or who to call. Hey, my sink is draining slowly. I've got 3 daughters and the hair is like down in the middle of the back. And my hair is draining slow. I just need someone to get my drains going every year. But like, you think some plumber is going to come out just for that? No. But if he's scheduled to come every year to tighten up all their faucets, to tighten up all their, shower handles, everything, clean out their cartridges, and clean out the P traps, and it's like $700 or $800 for that one service for that one guy 1 year. And also make sure that all your condensate lines from your air conditionings is flowing freely into your P traps behind the walls. But homeowners don't understand that. They don't get it. They just like the pretty picture on the internet.
So like the issue has to be like it has to be on us and a lack of education and educating our customers. And I think there's a lot of things coming into play. Generations ago, people uh, probably took more pride in their home, being that it's like, hey, this is our first house, we're raising our family here, we're never moving out of this house. They understand the money that's spent, and they had a little bit more time to upkeep. The houses were simpler, the products were better, even from a paint perspective,
Right.
right? Like the old paint, lead paint,
Oh yeah,
the oil-based paint.
that lead paint's the best. The only
I
problem
mean,
is
it just
your
like
kid has like a
holds up
third eye.
way better, right?
The
But
only
like,
negative with lead paint.
yeah, but
Other than that, it's great.
this stuff just holds up better.
Yeah.
And like at some point that changed, whether people got busier, people were less handy, the products aren't as great. The educate like it falls on our shoulders, right? If we're putting the best product out there and we're not doing the proper job as to how to take care of these floors that we just installed in your house, how do you take care of the kitchen cabinets, how like we're not educating our customers because we're so ready to get out of there, let our warranties start ticking, and then hope that our phone doesn't ring for the next 365 to 730 days, where we can actually charge to go back and make a repair. But realistically, we don't want to be back there making a repair anyway, because the small change that we have to go and set somebody up and meet somebody, it just doesn't make sense. I think that the narrative does have to change. Like putting these systems in place and creating this software, that's a huge step in the right direction, but we need to start owning and ensuring the longevity of our products and our buildings, because it's up to us to educate customers as to what they have to do. They have no idea.
No
Like
idea.
I so many times I get calls because this isn't working, that isn't working. It's like it's a GFCI,
Right.
right? And they don't know their outlet on the second floor is not. It's a lot of times the simple things, they don't know how to maintain their house, and then it could be something on the house that's unrelated to what you did, and then it affects what you did, and it all comes back to the
Yeah,
contractor.
and,
Like it
and that
all comes back to us and our reputation.
right, and that's going back to, I was going to say reputation. Going back to what you just said about, you're waiting for the clock to click down. Oh, it's been, it doesn't matter. I mean, oh yeah, it's been 366 days. So what? You know, you're gonna show up there and you're gonna have to, do the repair because you're a nice guy and you got a nice family and you have, your wife's probably friends with the guy's wife through some social connection, and because you contractors are, we all live in the communities we build in. Like no one's like
Yeah.
driving like 3 hours away. Like, oh, I'm just gonna get up every day and fly to Texas and build all my houses and I'll fly back tonight. Like that's not reality. Reality is you live close to where you are. So like 366 days, you show up there, or 600 days, whatever it is. Tyler, this whole miter came apart. This piece of shit. Tyler Grace, terrible. It's on the internet. It's almost all lies. Tyler Grace is a liar. His molding all blew up. His tile was popped out. He's a liar. But it's out of warranty, right? And maybe it was a bad rain, or maybe it was the humidity was too much, and maybe the you had a bad batch of primer and like didn't prime the end cut right or something. And you're looking at it, and go, oh man, this is terrible. It's nasty. I can't believe I did this. You got the bill. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you really gonna give the guy the bill and say like, sorry, didn't work out. Here's the bill. You're
Yeah.
not gonna do that. You're gonna say, hey man, I'm so sorry this happened and this sucks. But next time, like, I told you to paint it every year because, I remember I told you that you have to caulk this exterior joint every year because the sealant gets hot and cold and expands and contracts. So like water gets in there. Even though the sealant's got a warranty on it, you know, water can still get inside there. So remember I told you that? Hey, I'm going to fix it for you this time. But let's get on a program where I can, I'll pay you, just pay me like $300, a year, and I'll come and caulk that one joint. And it'll never happen again. Does that make sense? That's how I view everything, and that's
Yeah, and like, I mean, I know that car companies and the warranties that they offer when you purchase a car, like they make money on the warranty and the service of the vehicle, not necessarily on the sale of the vehicle.
exactly right.
And obviously, we're in a little bit, the initial investment is more for a home, but the service of that home, it should still equate to some sort of investment on a yearly basis. We don't build the homes anymore that you can just let them go for 20, 30 years
No
and
way.
then redo everything all at once.
No way. Because the problem is that the joints, the separations, it gets inside and it gets inside this, Douglas fir wood. And it just any water gets inside there, man, it's just gonna be just a breeding ground for all kinds of like creatures and funguses
And
and
like
molds and stuff.
with all the new stuff, as soon as it starts to fail, like it'll hold up. And then as soon as it starts to fail, it just fails miserably,
Right.
like
Mhm.
very quickly. I mean, it's not even just exterior; it's interior too, right? You spent $200,000 on a kitchen, and you don't know how to properly maintain the cabinets. You don't
Right.
know how to, like, my customers don't know how to adjust drawer slides, runners, like that,
Right. And
stone tops, whatever it is, sealing. See, like you should have somebody cleaning and resealing your marble and your stone in your showers
Can
every
can
year or so.
can I wanna play devil's advocate here and go in the extreme opposite direction and bring up the argument that are we just making these homes more complicated than they need to be?
yes.
Like what it takes to build, yeah, rhetorical question, right? But I think about, caulking is a great example because, you talk about your house, like the exterior needs to be caulked, all the joints need to be caulked. Tyler, you talk about stone countertops, the caulking against the tile backsplash, cracks, the caulking against the drywall wall cracks, and it requires maintenance where, that specific example, like stone to drywall, for me, I'm not an architect. I give my opinion in design, but I don't always, doesn't always follow through. But I always say remove, like, don't have the stone touch the drywall. It's a caulk joint, it's going to fail, it's a maintenance. And but everything we're talking about, or not everything, a lot of what we're talking about here is that, especially in terms of like aesthetic and things that fail, such as exterior and caulking and sealing and painting, it's like, why not just start pushing design that prevents that? Why not have a fully drainable exterior facade? And I know the answer is like, well, Newport Beach has these laws and that you have to build within certain materials, and it can't be this funky modern thing that has this like rain screen cladding and, okay, sure, like I think that this is going back to like the bigger issue that we chatted about, I think last week, in terms of like these neighborhoods having these design parameters that, make it really complicated to build, but even more complicated, as we're talking about it, to maintain, and
Right.
costly to maintain.
And I think going to what you said is I know you're working with Chris Brandon on that on the East
Yeah.
Coast now too. He's the best. And so Chris is a personal friend of mine. I've been working with him for, I don't know, 20 years now. And we always joke about it. It's like when we first started, Chris, these plans were like 10 pages, like total. Now
Mm,
they're like 110 pages. All these regulations, the water quality management, the Title 24, all this nonsense that we have to do, comply with, and that, and
mhm,
and then while that line is traveling of all these new compliances you got to work through and make these plans that the technology of his software is increasing. So now
mhm.
Chris is able to like create these photorealistic renderings. You can't even tell the house, like where's this house? It's like, that's not real, it's a picture. It's like, there's no way
Yeah.
that's a picture. And you've got these big like 20-foot cantilevers, this these with a 10-inch fascia, with like this beautiful cedar going out and ACM metal cladding. And I was like, that's a beautiful picture, but how's that water going to drain from that integrated drain on 20 feet away? It's quarter inch per foot. That water's got to fall. It'll fall out of the ceiling. Oh yeah, we got to look at that. And then but so having these photos and the what clients are willing to get what they think they're going to get, because they just hold up their house when it's done, and the actual picture of the house before it was done, it's the same thing. So building these homes are really, really, really complicated these days. And so going back is when we give a bid for the scope of work, like here's the 3 carpenters that bid on the exterior material. We are also showing the pictures, like we said before, of what it will look like if you don't maintain it, but also with the bid, the estimate from the vendor saying this is what it's going to cost to maintain it every 6 months, every year, whatever the maintenance of the material they're specifying requires. So everyone's super cool. They get it. Like, hey, I know it's 10 grand a year to oil my wood, but I don't care. I like it. It's nice.
I think that is a big part of it, is like knowing that up front. I'm just gonna keep using the Lamborghini reference, but it's like going into it that oil change is what, 20 grand or something like that
Yeah,
to change the oil. It's like, oh, I have, not only do I have to spend $500,000 on a car, but it's gonna cost me 20 grand every time I do an oil change.
right.
Where it's, I think that's one thing, especially in doing this myself and going through the maintenance side of it. When we get to the end of the project, it's almost like this like anticipation, like what's maintenance going to cost on my house? Oh my
Right.
gosh, it's $22,000 a year. It's like, yeah, what were you expecting?
and that's and
Like,
Yeah.
that and that's the first thing you get, like after a big rainstorm, after a big heat wave, or the big baking
yeah,
sun, you get like this picture, like, what the hell is this? Like, what
yeah,
is this? And they have
right.
no idea because no one
It's like, oh,
educated
line
them.
item
Yeah, punch
107 that
list.
we were going to take care of,
Yeah, punch list. Patterson sucks. Punch list. My wood faded.
Do you think that part of that has to do with it's the same principle as builders where we aren't uh, I mean sometimes slightly deceptive as to yeah, we can hit that budget, yeah, we can hit that schedule, because I see a lot of projects, like one of my customers had a garage built. I've done like little interior built-ins and stuff for them. They had a garage built and they put epay cladding on the one side, and there's no maintenance schedule on it, and they don't like the way that it grade, and
Ah, that sucks.
like,
Wait till
but
it starts
like
splintering.
the right, so the builder never discussed. It's like, oh yeah, you could tell the architect sold them on this, but then it's like you want them to use that. It's going to photograph great initially, but then you're afraid to tell them the cost of the maintenance,
Yeah.
and like I feel like so much of it is that, right? Oh yeah, we want to use marble in their whole shower with all white grout.
Send them a picture of
And
all the rust stains that are come out of it in 6 months to a year of when all the rust comes out of the bottom of the stone. Show them that
but
picture.
that's what, like, they want to get the pictures and it's going to look great, but they don't have that discussion with them. Like I have that discussion with whether it is unlacquered brass sink fixture, if it's stone tops, like, hey, if it's a wood top, right? This is going to look amazing the day I walk out of your house. It's going to look amazing 20 years from now, but there's going to be this in between where it just kind of looks
Yeah.
dirty until it develops that patina that the marble can have. But like the designers don't have that, right? I'm back at the job because, hey, this happened on the marble, this happened on the marble, but the designers are not having the conversation with
No.
them as to what's the in between look like before it
Yeah.
looks like an old house in the city, and when we leave it, when your kids start wiping their like nasty little fingers on it, right? There's going to be this in between time where it's not going to be the most beautiful
Right.
surface, and you just need to get to that point. And I think that a lot of times we don't have that conversation with
No.
customers.
Unlacquered brass is a big one of mine. Um, Matte finish,
Yep.
unlacquered, no touch to it, all beautiful. The hood comes
Mm,
out, all beautiful hood liner, photograph, just like 16,000 likes, 40,000 like views. Oh, this brass hood is so amazing. And then the kid like wants to turn the light on, but he's like cooking some chicken or something like that, and he reaches wrong and hits it with his hand. And next thing you know, this picture, like you have Instagram picture, then side by side, this big nasty handprint on the. I mean, it's so defined. You can see his actual
Yeah.
fingerprint marks in the actual unlacquered brass. And he's like, "Well, you gotta get rid of that. What do you mean? You gotta wash it
You
off.
just got to put
But,
more
but
handprints on there.
doesn't wash off. What do you mean doesn't wash off? You put a product in my house you can't wash? No, man, I didn't spec it. Well, you should have told me. Did you know? Yeah, of course I knew. Why don't you tell me? because you probably wouldn't have done it, and the designer gets pissed at me. So,
Yeah.
but I don't, now if someone says that was before, but now it's like, oh, I want to put this unlacquered brass in. I show them a picture. Look at
Mhm.
this handprint. You like that?
Yeah.
Because the only way to make that handprint go away, and it's so funny you just said that, is to take your hands and do it
Put
all
them
over the
all
whole
over it.
entire thing.
Yeah. So,
That's
And
and
so
do you ever
funny you
like
finger
said
paint?
that.
You ever finger paint as a kid? Let's just do that.
Yeah, that's it.
when
Because people don't understand. They're like, why on earth would you install that? It's not functional. You can't wash it. It's like, oh,
when you initially
I'd
started
take it.
talking about this program, the thought came to my mind where it's like, this is a lot of stuff to keep ahead of, right? Where all of the maintenance items and all of the conversations with customers as to, yes, we can use this, but this is an issue that we ran into. It's a full-time job and a career developing this software and this program
Right.
and these maintenance programs, as far as like, you have to have the experience and the failures to be able to develop this.
Right, and that's basically what the program is about, and that's why we'll be licensing it to anyone who wants to use it if they want to buy it, whatever. We're having an interest list going after this podcast, and so we'll talk about how to find the website and how to get an interest list going. We're getting the list, and I think we're like 4 months away from launching it. And basically, it's the most important part of it isn't so much like running your own maintenance program for your builders, for your clients. It's for builders to have the ability to be, when the house is done, autonomously notifying them and tracking the emails, notifications of the things they should be doing. That's
Yeah.
the program. That's the value. So, like Nick said, there's, and I agree, there's probably like 2,000 people maybe in the country that, you know, operate a business like Nick's and myself, where it's, affluent areas, and a lot of people will pay for these things. A lot of people won't. Majority of the places in the country, like, it doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense for everybody to have that notifications to keep everyone notified. Like, hey, it's been, 3 months. Time to, we don't have a service plan in place because we're too small of a builder. But I have invested in the software where they're being notified, and I'm tracking the notifications that things have to be
Mhm.
done. So that when someone calls and says, Patterson sucks, Tyler sucks, Nick sucks, everyone sucks, and my house leaked, it's like, well, we've been telling you for 5 years, every year, like, you need to get the exterior caulking done in your
Mhm.
house. It's required. You have to do it. So we will come. Nick's like, oh, I'll be there. I'll come. Tyler, I'll be there. I'll come. Patterson, yeah, let's go. I'll come. But first, hold on. Do me a favor. Just go ahead and send in all the receipts that you've been having the caulking done on the outside of the house every year for the last 5 years. And then, I'm a busy guy, but I'll make time for you. I'll come see you. But just go ahead and send that stuff in first, because I want to make sure that we're all, talking about it. Don't bring your Range Rover dealership for 8 years, not change the oil, you know. Seized on the highway, just stopped. Go to the dealership. I gave you the 150 grand for the car, luxury automobile. It's a British car, I think it's made in India, but it's a luxury car, whatever it is. And I gave you the 150 grand, and it stopped on the highway. Unbelievable to me. Well, Mr. Patterson, it's been 8 years. Have you changed the oil? Change the oil. Please, how about change the oil? I bought the luxury car from you, $150,000 car, and it stopped on the freeway, man. Danger to my family. But Mr. Patterson, you never changed the oil. Well, no one told me that. Well, it was in the manual. Manual, I'm too busy for that. Run a big business building houses. I have no time for a manual. Well, we sent all these emails to you. Emails? I don't know. I don't check all those. I get 500 a day. The light went on. We called you. Never came in. I don't know what you're talking about. This car sucks. So that's kind of what you're trying to do is flip that narrative, because people would never, the lowest level of knowledge in the world, like, my a 5-year-old like kid knows you got to change the oil in your car, but no one, even the most successful people in the world, don't know to wash their house.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and I forget what we had this conversation about. Maybe it was at one of our presentations, Nick. But we're gonna own, especially if you have integrity in your business and integrity in yourself, you're going to own all of these issues with the house one way or another. So like,
Mhm.
why don't you own them and get paid for them?
Exactly right, Tyler. Good job. That's the param. That's it right there.
Um, and we just had that conversation. It's like, if I would, like you said, I think that it makes sense to use this as an angle to be able to create a separate business model, maintain the homes, create a system for other contractors, for all of your customers to maintain their homes, and really preserve their product and preserve their investment. It does make a lot of sense. And I think that we do have to do a better job of changing that narrative to a certain extent that, hey, we walk out of your house. Like I have the conversation with customers all the time where I'm like, this is the best your house is ever going to look when I leave. Right. And like, I do have a couple of customers that I come back and it's like I never left. But
Yeah.
most of them, like, it gets lived in. Some I've had absolutely trash it, and that's like very disappointing. But
It
it would
kills
be
it.
nice.
Yeah, it
It,
kills you.
it would be nice to be able to leave and be like, "Hey, I'm leaving," and it's going to continue to look this way, rather than hand it over and be like, "It'll never look this good again." Like, take it all in right now.
Right. And so our model, the way we have it is it's a 30% upcharge, right? So everything is 30%. It's all open book, see everything, all the costs, everything. So I have 90, how many people on customer? 90, I think it was 90 people on it, 90 past clients. And so the average, markup on the service plan is probably like $2,000, wherever, right? So it costs me more than that to run it with the guys. It's California, everything's super expensive to have employees here, and workman's comp and van and all that nice stuff. So it's pretty much breaks even with 90 people on it.
Yeah,
But I make so much money on this program, so much money, by not spending money on things that aren't my fault.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the bottom line, is
And
that
you don't even have to have that conversation. Like, there's no gray area
it's,
there. If
yeah,
everything is documented and everything's on the up and up, it's not even a lot of times I concede shit where I don't have it documented, or I didn't educate them or explain to them, "Hey, we may run into this thing." Right? And then, but if I did my job correctly and I had what was included and what wasn't included, I don't feel quite as badly when I charge for something that everyone knew wasn't included.
exactly right.
But like, when that's not out there and there's not like a clear delineation between what's included and what's not, a lot of times you eat all of those
And that's
costs.
and Tyler, that is the program, is the awkward conversation when you show up at someone's house that has a problem, and you look at him like, oh God, like I never did that failed, whatever it was, but
Yeah,
he never took care of it, opposed to, like, it's clear as day, delineation. I told you to do this. It
and
cost
you
this
didn't.
Mhm.
much to do it. You didn't do it, and now it looks like this.
Mhm.
I'm Patterson. I'm a nice guy. Everyone, I'm a nice guy. I'm here to help you. Even though you didn't pay me to do it, you didn't do it, but now you know you should have done it. I'm here now with open arms saying to you, now that you know what it's going to look like, and you didn't pay for it if I told you to, I'm here now with open arms to enroll you in our program so that it always gets done every single year.
This is like the people who go and get gastric bypass and lose like 200 pounds and then don't change their diet or exercise, and
Yeah.
then they gain the weight back and
Yeah.
they're like,
Man.
"What the
Yeah.
hell? I got the surgery."
Yeah.
Like, it worked temporarily.
Yeah, right. So back to what you said about, you go to these homes and they're thrashed, right? But we build homes, right? Homes are for families,
Mm.
and the more beautiful the home is, how beautiful the families in it, right? That's like, you go to these houses, all these kids, and everyone's having a good time, but maybe there's some, like, peanut butter stuffed inside the crown molding, or some Play-Doh like smashed down into the knots of the hardwood floor or something, you know. But it's lived in. It's beautiful, but the homeowners have the ability to, like, pay to, like, make it look good again. So
Mhm.
one of as part of our services, like, we do a whole hardwood floor, like, recoating, right? So it's one of the services. You say, I want my hardwood floor recoated. We have the guy comes. We have a moving company called Ortega's. They come and pack all this stuff up. They offsite storage it all, and the guys come in and sand all the floors down and recoat coat them all. do some touch-up paint in there in the house while we're in there, and the homeowners move back in. And it's like, oh my gosh, Tyler, it's like the day you gave it to me. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
And all it took was just that, and now it looks brand new again. Yeah, it just refinishing the floor. I mean, not even sanding it down. We're just talking like
Just
lightly
the
sanding the
screen.
top layer and recoating it all, so all the dog nails, scratches are hidden, and repainting the walls. And they had an option to say like, I want this service done on their page, and it's already predetermined because the builder is making the their services. The builder, it's like a la carte, like Tyler does. What was that thing Tyler was talking about in Utah? Like something about like it gets cold, and so you have to like
Oh,
blow air. You have to blow air or something like that in your sprinkler.
and,
Some weird.
and Andrew was so like confused about this, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it
have to
gets cold.
blow
You
out
gotta
your
blow your
irrigation
yeah, you gotta
lines.
blow
Yeah,
out the irrigation so they
I
don't
never heard of
freeze.
something like that, but Tyler's like that's the most important thing. I was like, I never heard of that before, but if that's important to you, then we make it a
Mhm.
task. So now he can. So if someone, on
You
his
guys don't have to
program,
shut off. You guys don't have to shut off your outdoor hose bibs either, huh?
no, man, no
So
screens.
the the the
We
thing
don't have
is,
screens on our windows and that stuff. So
water freezes, air doesn't.
yeah, we know that. So Tyler, that was the thing that he, it was important to him
Yeah.
because it's great because if he sends the notification like, hey, it's October, it's starting to get cold, or September, whenever it gets cold over there, is notification, you're not paying us to blow this out, but you needed to blow it out yourself, right? And then all of a sudden, all of his pipes explode, never did it. Oh, your check release. Everyone's got a story like, oh, I did it, but the check release valve thing or whatever was like jammed, and like it's not my fault. But of course it was. You didn't blow it out. But everyone's got an excuse. So it's quickly to say, hey, I'm here to replace all your pipes for you, but like this is your expense. Like you have to pay for this. It's like, okay, I
Mhm.
know. I'm sorry.
It's always your fault, no matter what. And
Not if
like,
you have a program to.
no, but
Yeah.
like, that's why this program would be good because it's the same thing I say where people are like, do you like if you have a standard and you deviate from that, right? Where it's like, well, the customer doesn't want to use this line of cabinets because they're just a little bit too much and they want to go with the lesser grade. And you're like, you know what? I'll do this that one time, and then you do that, and then there's issues with those cabinets. The homeowner's not telling everyone that you proposed a higher grade cabinet and then they wanted to spend less. They're
Yeah.
like, nah, these cabinets are shit. I don't know why he said it was a good idea to use them.
Yeah.
It's like it's always you're damned if you do,
Yeah.
you're damned if you don't. So like put the pieces in place
Right.
to protect yourself and to get paid at the end of the day, because it's gonna be on you no matter what way you slice it. It's
Right.
always on us.
So back to the cabinets are a good lesson on those. So we get spec'd all this stuff all the time. Like, oh, I want this, polyform kitchen, or I want this and that, or polygon pole, all these different designer things. And so I was like, that's great. You can just like contract directly with them. They said, whoa, God, it's like $200,000. Don't you want your fee on it? It's like, no, I'm part of that. Well, what do you mean? Why not? I said, because I don't want any part of it. So, but the cabinets that we build, we build specifically for every single project, is it's all our standard. It's all 3/4 inch solid plywood boxes, all Bloom undermount, like drawer glides, and the heavy duty glides, and also like self-closing, the Blue Motion doors. And then the client gets to pick the front. Like, is it face frame? Okay, I want face frame, and I want flush inset doors. Okay, well, all right. Well, you can choose. It's all 3/4. You want poplar, mahogany, oak. Like, what do you want? And then they can choose everything from that point forward. They can do European style doors,
Hmm.
rift oak doors, but they cannot choose anything behind the face of the cabinets. They cannot choose how the box is built. They cannot choose the hardware that we use. They cannot choose
Mhm.
that they're all dovetail, solid
Drawer
maple drawer
boxes.
boxes. They can't choose anything else because I'm not going to be there and be like, oh yeah, yeah, sorry that your cabinet you bought some builder surplus site, like just like you said. They didn't say that at the soccer game. They said the door
No.
ripped off. Little little Maggie was all she wanted to do was get a popsicle, and she stood up on the top to get the refrigerator and the grab the cabinet door and ripped off right in her hand.
Yeah.
Tyler
It's like,
sucks.
oh, we
Tyler
spent
sucks.
how much money
Shitty
on
cabinets in
these?
my house. Tyler's terrible.
Yeah. I don't know.
Being
These are the ones that he
yeah.
recommended, and you wouldn't believe what we paid for these.
Right.
It's
Right.
always the
So
story.
so that's the thing. If I can't physically control or see like how it's put together, I just like do it on your own. I don't care. Oh, you like California closets? Nothing wrong with California closets. I'm just saying like it's not the standard of cabinetry that I
Mhm,
build for my clients.
Yeah.
mhm.
Nothing wrong with them. We use them a lot. Great company. Sorry.
So when are you planning to have this available for licensing?
Um, I don't know. It's
That's the
right when I
million
think
dollar
it's good, right
question.
when I think it's good to go, then it's something's wrong with it. Nick's the ultimate tester. Nick just gets in that thing and like breaks it all the time. So right when
Well,
I think it's ready to go, Nick's like, "Oh, this sucks." Whatever.
I think I broke Andrew's heart like 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. I was like, "I need to
Yeah.
have a heart to heart with you.
Yeah.
These are the things that aren't working." But
Yeah.
I will say for what it's worth, the team, I think, took that very seriously because there's been 3 updates since then,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah. The,
Um,
the, 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 the beauty of having Nick as part of this program with me and helping me along with this and being on the board with this is that I don't know the questions to ask. Like I
mm,
don't like my level of technology, like I told you, is ended Street Fighter with a quarter. Nick's like doing all this AI stuff. He knows all this
Yeah.
stuff works. And like I don't understand how this stuff works. But Nick is able to communicate, which is great, with the software developer and like speak the language and say like this interface of this, HTML thing of that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Same.
You know?
you're
That's
giving
how
me
I
a little
feel.
too much credit. I have no
This
idea
isn't even
what
Nick
the
on this podcast. This
Yeah.
is AI Nick.
Yeah, right. But back to the question, I think hopefully get it out in the next 4 to 6 months.
Cool.
But we are going to put out an interest list of anybody that wants a demo.
well, you can do that
Um,
now. You can
yeah,
go to the website customcaretech.com and there's a get a free demo.
yeah,
I
customcaretech.com.
and obviously I'm not in the home building sector, but I do see an opportunity for this at some level, even for contractors, remodeling contractors. I mean, you even think like a roofing contractor, and why aren't we including or selling some sort of yearly or bi-yearly cleaning of your gutters and your roof every single year to ensure, oh, let's inspect the boots, make sure that the flashings are good. I understand that this program is for big picture and full homes maintenance, but I do see value in something like this, even for the small remodels.
Right.
I don't know
The
how you would integrate that in, but like, you do a bathroom for somebody and there's things that need to be maintained on a yearly basis, and even if it's just like, hey, we'll set you up for X amount per year just to send you the reminders of when these need to get
right,
done.
right.
I think that like moving forward, that would be something I know for my customers. I mean, shit, for myself would be valuable because right now I have like calendar alerts in my phone, just like how to maintain your home.
Yeah, my house is nasty. My poor wife. The last house that ever gets fixed and services my house. My poor wife.
Yeah,
So just,
same.
she's like, if this guy called you right now, you'd be on the phone, you'd be in there in 2 seconds. I've been trying to get this dishwasher fixed for 3 months. It's like, nah, no, I don't know. Just wash it by hand. I'd rather just wash it by hand. I have to go fix this guy's dishwasher. You know.
That's how I feel
Yeah.
most of the time.
It's
Yeah.
literally like our garbage disposal busted in our house, and it's got to be 2 months now. And there's
Yeah.
one in the basement, like on a sink that we don't use. And she's like, "Can't you just swap it?" I'm like, "Man, that's a few hours worth of work."
Yeah.
We're,
So now she's on her third basket that sits in the
yeah.
bottom of the sink to collect the food so we can like dump it in the trash.
Oh my
And
God.
Yeah.
every once in a while, like the problem with having a garbage disposal is when it doesn't work, you can't just drain, like you can't let any food down it because
Yeah.
any food, like you have to spin. So I'm putting my hand down every night to spin it so like the food goes down the
Yeah.
drain.
Otherwise, you guys do air gaps out there where you have the dishwasher
No.
through an air gap, or do you go directly
Yeah.
into your
Oh yeah, yeah.
disposal?
No,
Air gap.
we don't have an air. I
I
don't
mean,
think
it's
we have
just
an
an
air
air
gap.
gap with the hose.
Yeah, but so
Yeah.
what we do here, we just directly plug in the. You're not supposed. This is not a. This is after inspection. If the homeowner chooses to on their own, not under Patterson's watch. Disclaimer: they hook hose directly into the
Garbage
garbage
disposal.
disposal. But if it's
Yeah.
not, but if you're getting a bunch of stank old like piece of codfish we're eating over there in Boston stuck in your disposal, and
Yeah.
that thing
Catfish.
fires up, man, and it's not washed down, it's all gonna blow up, man.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I
but
should.
yeah, we're doing an HVA. We're doing the new standard right now. Let's make it laugh. We're doing an HVAC series now of our new standard. Because California is banning gas in like the next 5 years.
Mhm.
Banning gas. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's like been no gas allowed for new construction in California in 5
There are
years. So everything's
parts of
switching.
parts of Boston are already
Yeah.
doing that.
So
Yeah,
everything's. I think for the earth and all that stuff, that's a good thing. I'm
sure.
cool with that. I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. So I'm doing this whole series on how we've now switched last year and a half, 2 years ago, into all VRV technology heat pumps that are in every
Mhm.
single room. So every room has their own air conditioning and heating system. So rather than having like two 5-ton units for a 5,000 square foot house, we have like eight,
Yeah.
1 ton units, right? But they all share the same condenser, right? There's no
Mhm.
combustion. It's all whatever. So Shannon's like, I come with my Instagram, my iPhone film team, and
Mhm.
Shannon's like, "What the hell are you doing here? You don't even work?" It's like, "No." So what are you doing? I make a video. What do you make a video for our house? Our house nasty. And I said, exactly. I'm making a video on the
What
old
not to do?
system. I'm on the old system of how the old jankety
How they
heating
used to
systems
do it
work.
back in the day.
Yeah, and Shannon's like, you do that right now in my house? And I was like, yeah, for sure I am. And so she's cool. Shannon's cool. And then so I go up in there and I climb my attic like this old GI Joes and Cabbage Patch Kids. I'm like knocking them out of the way, and I'm up there like trying to like video this big clank rah 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 thing in my attic. So it's like, Shannon, I can't go to a client's house, be like, hey, would you mind if I had access to your home? I'm doing a video on the old stuff we don't use anymore. That's terrible. It's like, yeah, come on in.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
have you in. Show away. So
Ugh,
anyway, sorry. I get excited, that.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude, that's it, man. That's 2 hours.
Really?
You Yes.
Yeah. Time
Well,
flies when you're having fun.
yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, I
No,
guess ended on this. Are we done now, or do you want to tell about the custom care? You already told them, right? Where to go to?
yeah, if you guys, yeah,
Customcaretech.com.
customcaretech.com, schedule a
Yeah.
free demo. Are you doing the demos personally?
Um.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I
Nah,
mean,
one of his handlers is
Yeah.
doing that.
no. Yeah. No. I think what I'm going to do is do the advice that you do is because you have all that like professional videography stuff, and how you
Mhm.
like that real stuff you do. I'm probably just gonna do like a quick like 1 hour sort of YouTube video on like
Oh,
how
cool.
the whole thing works with the
So,
actual
yeah, basically a
sharing the
pre
screen, showing the
yeah,
screenshots, like how you enroll somebody,
that's
how
cool.
do you make
Yeah.
your own tasks, how do you send the reminders, how do you create the page, how do you get the
Mhm.
subcontractors enrolled. I will do a
Basically
video based
do
on
a
that.
stock video. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's stock video.
anyone
Yeah.
can watch it, and then if
Yeah.
they become
Yeah.
serious, then you can obviously do the
Yeah.
one-on-ones.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think 4 to 6 months is a decent time frame for this to be, you know, transferred into, other builders. I mean, just to fill you in, like, that's been, as Andrew said, for, I don't think we've been involved for years, maybe close to it, but we've just been helping develop and test how it works. And
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew's spot on. I mean, beyond the cost of it, like the amount of time it just takes to there's so many things that there's so many buttons and things, and it's like when it doesn't work, it seems catastrophic, but the reality is it's oftentimes a relatively simple, in my eyes,
Right.
fix. It needed to be tested.
Like
Um,
the one bug we had where it's like you sign up for the power washing, so you look at the page, there's like 47 appointments available on one day. It's like, man, that guy hauls ass.
yeah.
47 appointments in one day? That's
Yeah.
amazing. This guy,
Dude,
that
I'm
kind of
becoming a
guy,
pressure washer,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
making some
yeah, he's
money.
driving by in his truck and hit the brake. But so that was a
Uh,
bug, like 47
yeah.
tasks available in one day. So it's like,
Yeah.
but they're all working out. And I think that in the 4 to 6 months, we'll be ready to start bringing people on. But like I said, this is not like some deal, oh, Patterson's trying to get that big yacht, travel around the world, get that money, that internet money. You know, I love building houses, man. I'm never going to stop doing this. I love it so much. And so for me, it's like, hey, sign up for the software. Pay the fee, whatever it is, whatever determined it to be, And like, you like it, use it, that's great. It sucks, don't use it, I don't care. Or like, don't buy it. It doesn't affect me, it doesn't hurt me. But like, I'm trying to like change the narrative. Like I said, like I want to end my career that everyone says, everyone knows that guy Patterson, he found a way, this way to get rid of this awkwardness of like when the house is done and like stuff goes wrong. Patterson found a way to bridge that gap where there's no more awkward conversations. There's no more assumed, liability on the builder, even though the guy didn't do the maintenance, and clearly defines like, you didn't take care of it, it's on you, not on the builder.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I want to end my career. Change the world.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew, I appreciate your friendship and what you're
Yeah,
doing.
man, it's been great. When are you coming out to Newport again?
We were trying for
come
April.
out and we got to come out and film this this startup thing for your app. So 4 to 6
Tyler,
months.
you're welcome too. If you ever want to come
Yeah.
out, I got a beach house out here. If you want to bring your family and your kids, you're more than welcome. I'll put you up for a long weekend.
Next week too early?
I don't think it's booked next week. If you want to come.
Nah, we're going away.
Oh.
But
yeah, whenever you want to come
I
out,
might take you up on that.
Yeah, for sure. You're more than welcome. We love putting people up, and I like entertaining other builders from other parts of the country. I learn, and that's the best part about what we do as builders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's so great about my relationship with Nick is I'll never compete against Nick, right? I'll never compete against Tyler. I'll never compete against Brad from AFT. And so we can communicate amongst each other like, oh, this worked or that didn't work or this didn't work or that, and and it's great. That's why our community is so amazing, is because through Instagram and through media platforms and all these different like podcasts and stuff, where you can form these bonds and relationships with people that are like-minded. Like Nick and I are like-minded. Nick cares about his clients. Nick cares about his product, his brand, his name, his vision. He does a good job, like you, Tyler, you care about what you do. You're not like just, there's probably like an evil podcast, like a bizarro world. That's like three guys like, oh yeah, let's build the crappiest stuff ever and we'll make all that money, and don't ever call them back. I'm making an app how not to answer the phone, not take the big call, So, there's probably three guys together like, oh, let's all travel together and make this terrible thing, So,
we just edit all that stuff out.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's what's great about what we do. And, I'm very fortunate and blessed to cross paths with you. And, just keep looking forward to the future, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, we will be in touch. I know we got our call weekly.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys want to check it out, customcaretech.com, schedule a free demo. And do that before you DM me asking me what I think about the custom care software, because that's what usually happens. Do the demo, watch the video, and then if you feel so inclined, hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah.
And make sure you check out Patterson's Instagram for the wait, hold on. I'm gonna mess
Patterson,
it up. How we built this. What's your series?
The New Standard series?
Oh, New Standard. Not how I said how we built this. The New Standard series. I'm gonna go. I actually just saw on my feed that you popped up, so you must have posted a new one today.
Did you make Lindsay's saying the HVAC one is up now? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
What I love about the Instagram stuff is that like I love all the trolls. Like all the trolls get out there and just light me up all the time. Oh,
of course.
What's this guy talking about? Doesn't know what he's talking about. So I was like, yeah, Freon gets cold. I don't know. I was in chemistry class. I don't know. I was outside skateboard. I have no idea why it gets cold, but it does. Where's his PPE? Where's his hard hat? I'm making a video, man. Kick rocks. I know. I'm not stupid. I know
so
what's
brutal.
up. Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. Like I remember, like one of your first videos that you did. You get on camera and you're like, hey, so I don't know why everyone's asking, but my pants are from Lululemon. My wife buys them, and my shirt is from, and I'm like, there they are. Like it never fails. Like there's always a group that wants to know what you're wearing.
I know.
It's so bizarre.
You get so many trolls on you about your skinny jeans, dude. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I love it.
But you know what's so funny? I wear skinny jeans now because of you.
Good.
I like the way they fit on my calves. It's nice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm wearing those big baggy things.
Makes you feel shredded.
I know.
Nick switched to like the jeggings though.
I did, yeah. My calves are getting too big.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love it. Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
All right,
I got to
dude.
roll. So,
Yeah,
so great. Thanks for having me on, and we'll hopefully, if you want to get me on again about this whole appliance disaster, I'll come
I,
after I get my money out. I'll
I
tell you
will.
all about it.
I will, dude.
All right,
Let's make
guys.
it happen.
Thanks.
See you, dude.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
He's
He's
mad,
off
man.
the wall.
I think I said 11 words.
Raul spark plugs.
His he's so animated, and I love that about him. And dude, uh, I was in Huntington Beach. It was me, Brad, Mark Williams, and him in a car, and like we're all of the same exact like mind. So we're all operating like at 2x speed,
Yeah.
and but we're all trying to be in charge. But Brad's gonna kill me for saying this. Brad was like next level where Andrew would park the car and Brad's like,
Yeah.
Move up a little bit." And he's like, "Why?" He goes, "It just move up a little bit." And like it wasn't even though Brad had a reason for him to move. He just
Yeah.
needed to make sure that like he was the one that decided where the
Yeah.
car ended up. And then me and Mark are in the back. It was just like I'm like, this is the amount of energy in this car right now
I'd
is
just
like
open the door and hop out, just dive
yeah,
out.
you would have been puking. Like you would have been like, get me out of here.
Could you
Um
imagine just like living around him and just bumping into him 45 minutes later? He'd be like, "All right, listen, I gotta go."
yeah.
Like I haven't even said anything.
No, he's a good dude, and I love like he didn't really say it specifically, but like his goal, and this is why I chose to like help him with custom gear is like he's like, listen, it's an app. I want to do it, and I want to just like leave it as my legacy to the building industry. He's
Yeah,
like, it's just it's something that we all struggle with, and no one has a good answer for, which is true. And here's my opportunity to invest as much as I can to give back. So I think that's cool. But
for sure.
all right, guys, make sure you hit us up on our website, moderncraftsman.co. I was wrong. Not every episode is up on that page.
Oh.
So forgive me. Doug listened to the last week's and he's like, Nick, you're an idiot. I'm like, well, that's fair. But we
Yeah,
got to
I think we got a text like last Sunday where Doug's like,
like,
"Not
yeah,
every episode
yeah,
is up."
he's like, bro. But a bunch of episodes are up. You can take a look at. We got some swag up there. Uh, Big thank you to the 270 people that sold out our JLC events. Thank you so much.
Wait, was it
It
270
was like
total?
135. Yeah,
Yeah.
135 per. The first day was great. Hour and a half session. Second day, a bunch of you guys came up to me after the show and said, Nick, you sounded really nervous about talking for 3 hours. And we talked for 3 hours and we still didn't get through all of our
And we
slides.
didn't take a break.
We did not take a break. And we gave out the very, very last of version one's t-shirt. We were saving those for a special event, and what better event to give them away. So big thank you to everyone that showed up. We're going to be in Minneapolis May 15th through the 19th. Would love to see you guys there. Myself, Tyler, Brad from AFT, and Morgan from Construction to Style. Tickets are available. There's a bunch of events that are going to be happening out there, including Mark Williams' podcast, Contractors Coalition Summit.com. Tickets are rolling in. I'm not exactly sure how many are left, but we are limiting it to 30 people max. So make sure you register. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Andersen and Buildertrend. We'll see you next week.
Adios.